Good morning, you're watching Addis News Hour, commencing with the headlines. Ethiopia launches the 5th generation cellular network technology 5G. France reaffirms commitment to bolster ties to Ethiopia. Once again, hello and welcome to Addis News Hour. I'm Zortra Desali with the news. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed launched the annual home renovations program for impoverished communities in the Awari area around the National Palace. It is to be recalled that the Prime Minister launched this annual initiative in the first year of his premiership 4 years ago with the intention of rehabilitating housing for elderlies, the infirm, disabled and the economically disadvantaged sections of society. Since then, every year, the home renovations program has ensued prior to the start of the rainy season. This year, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is utilizing the proceeds of sale of his book, Yemedemer Menget, literally meaning Road to Synergy, to finance the construction of housing units for up to 23 identified individuals in the Awari area. The Ethiopian diaspora has been vociferously opposing attempts to have the two punitive bills, H.R. 6600 and S. 3199, into law. In an exclusive interview with ETV, Ustaz Jamal Bashir Ahmed, Vice President of Ethiopian Center for Peace and Progress, underscored that the Ethiopian diaspora is making awareness to their representatives about the consequences of the H.R. 6600 and S. 3199 bills. Shagawi Mato sat down with him and compiled the following account.
The draft H.R. 6600 and S. 3199 bills consist of extremely harsh sanctions that have not been imposed in the past and would cut off Ethiopia from the rest of the world in political, economic and social spheres. Realizing the negative impacts of those draft bills, Ethiopians and Eritreans living in the United States and across the globe are protesting against those bills. They call upon the United States Congress and Senate to cancel the draft bills that they describe as counterproductive tools. In an exclusive interview with ETV, Ustaz Jamal Bashir Ahmed, Vice President of Ethiopian Center for Peace and Progress, underscored that Ethiopian diaspora is protesting against the H.R. 6600 and S. 3199 bills not to be endorsed by the U.S. government.
Ethiopian diaspora are working on this issue by supporting in front of the White House and also the Congress men. They are calling them that because they present them in that country. So we are trying to call them and to tell them that we assign them to talk about us, how to present us in this country, which is America, to not to attack our country, Ethiopia. So that is what we are telling them, and this is one of the thing that we are doing. And the second, we are also going out to tell them that it is not a right. Ethiopia has to do what can do for living in freely as a country.
Reacting on Western interventions on Ethiopia, Jamal also pointed out that any country has its own politics part. Therefore, every Ethiopian needs to defend interventions on our country, despite Ethiopia is trying to re-engage with the Western countries.
As you know, every country has its politics part. So especially our problem, as far as I know, is related to the GERD, Ethiopian Great Renaissance Dam. The Egyptians and their politicians are very connected to the outside of the part of the world, America and Europe and any of these countries. So they are working hardly to push or to put their politics in our country. So we have to defend our country, to also to prevent this kind of activities through this world.
Regarding some religious and ethnic extremists who try to destabilize Ethiopia, Jamal further indicated that such activities are disseminated by Ethiopian enemies, adding that Ethiopians are known for their living together respectfully with religious and ethnic diversities.
Everyone who has any agenda or any activities that related to the religion and or any ethnicity part, it is inputted or planted by others. So he has to know that. Our country as Ethiopia, known by diversity and also by living together, even though with a lot of differences, religion difference and the ethnicities. So we have to know that any activities that we have here now in Ethiopia, we hear it from here and there, it's planted, not origin. So the origin of Ethiopia is to live together and respectfully of others. So this is what we need to concern, and we need to also focus on this issue. And anyone who work against this kind of activities, we have to put in to legal accountability.
The Ethiopian government is grateful of its diaspora living abroad, who are undertaking numerous activities protesting the endorsement of HR 6600 and S3199 bills.
Commander of the Western Front of the National Defense Forces of Ethiopia, Brigadier General Getachew Gudina, says the army is in a better position to repel any belligerence or attack from anybody. He recalled that the army has shattered the plot of the terrorist TPLF and its allies to dismantle Ethiopia, adding that the army has now been fully equipped with strong moral, manpower and logistics to repulse and threat. The army, which is working round the clock for better preparedness, is fully capable of thwarting any threat against sovereignty of the country, he said. The Consul General of the Ethiopian Consulate in Beirut, Lebanon, Temesgen Umar, had a meeting with Ethiopian community in Tripoli. The meeting focused on strengthening Ethiopian community-based activities to better protect the rights of Ethiopian citizens and actively engage them in various issues at home. The Consul General stressed the importance of creating strong diaspora associations and task forces to expedite information exchange among community members and protect the rights and interests of the community. As part of the delegation, Ethiopian community leader in Lebanon, Habtamu Tedla, also briefed the audience on the benefits of forming strong associations and working closely with the consulate. The delegation paid a visit to the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church in the city. Tripoli is the largest city in northern Lebanon and the second largest city in the country. Media specialists call for collective efforts to warrant genuine media practice in the country. The remark came at the 31st World Press Freedom Day organized by the UNESCO Addis Ababa office and the Ethiopian Media Council. Alula Taklamariam reports.
This year's World Press Freedom Day themed Journalism Under Digital Siege spotlights the multiple ways in which journalism is endangered by surveillance and digitally mediated attacks on journalists, and the consequence of all this on public trust in digital communications. The day is observed May 9 here in Ethiopia in the presence of global and local actors of the media. Chairperson of the Ethiopian Media Council and renowned journalist Amara Aragawi underscored the necessity of bountiful ground for genuine media practice in Ethiopia.
The idea is all governments and all media should respect freedom of the press. Freedom of the press means, if you want the public to participate in their country's issue, you have to get information about their country. To get the information, you have to get it freely without any restriction, and to make sure that the media gives this service freely.
Meanwhile, lecturer at the Addis Ababa University School of Journalism and Communication, Teshagir Farao, cited some of the challenges of media practice in Ethiopia.
In the sphere of the social media, we clearly see that obligations are forgotten. This is really a challenge that we are facing today. That is a challenge, and as a result, different political forces prefer to use the social media or the digital media to reach their audiences, but the production which is disseminated to the public are not actually up to the standard. The social media information involves fake news, hate speech, disinformation, etc. And this is really a challenge for the public as well as the mainstream media.
They both suggested possible solutions to ensure freedom of expression.
Organization or political interest groups should be ethical in the first place, The media production usually uses sources, and the sources are actually, we know, are political leaders or politicians or opinion leaders. So they need to be ethical. They should avoid hate speeches, disinformation, and other distorted stories. They should be responsible for the society. Their political goals should go according to ethically accepted behaviors. There is no news without sources. Journalists go to political leaders, politicians, opinion leaders, and if they are given with hate speech and distorted information, they have to be independent to filter all these unwanted elements in the story. It requires independence. And the citizens, which is sometimes net citizens or citizen journalists, should be educated with standard journalism.
Furthermore, Director of UNESCO's Addis Ababa office, Yomiko Yukozeki, expressed the need to secure freedom of expression.
So UNESCO would like to continue to work with the media and journalists to enhance media professionalism and also serve the public through providing accurate and balanced information.
UNESCO's new study revealed that 5 every 6 individuals leave their home country because of absence of freedom of expression.
Ethiopia launches a forum that allows East African communities to discuss on cooperation on transboundary aquifers. The media is expected to play a phenomenal role in reaching facts to the regional communities so that they can have a shared future. Santayo Tamrat brings us up to speed.
Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam, as well as the River Abai, on which the dam is being built, has been a source of hydropolitical dispute among the riparian countries over the years. This is basically because of wrong narratives on both the river and the dam by downstream countries. It seems now Ethiopia is showing commitment to deter similar disputes in the future regarding its transboundary rivers. The country, which often says it strictly adheres to international water principles, has launched a forum that allows East African communities to discuss on cooperation on transboundary aquifers.
We establish our forum at a national level. This forum will be keep in touch with other neighboring countries as well, so that we'll have, at East Africa level, people will get a platform to discuss about utilizing our water resource for joint coordination, cooperation, and for prosperity together.
The minister believes the platform will help change the wrong narratives on the Nile as well as the country's other aquifers by Egypt and Sudan, for it includes professionals and institutions from downstream countries.
For example, our diasporas who are residing in Canada and the US, they already started a small group to include professionals with genuine mind from all the upstream and the downstream countries, and they have platform to discuss that. So today we will reach an agreement in such a way that there will be a case that we can scale up, such kind of small forums that it will be helping. So we believe it will really change what has been going on so far.
To achieve this goal of Ethiopia, synchronizing a multitude of sectors is fundamental.
Collaboration of them, that means the technical peoples is required, also the media peoples, the hydro diplomacy peoples, the integration of all peoples is required to show the reality and also even to work together with neighborhood and also to become visible, not in the as regional level, also international level, to show the reality, the truth, what is the reality, what is shown in the ground, and so on, working together. That means different professionals. That means the water professionals, environmental professionals, social professionals, the media peoples, the head of diplomacy peoples, coming together and working together is required.
The media is expected to play a phenomenal role in reaching facts to the regional community so that they can have a shared future on the development of their water resources.
Your media journalists, when they are highly skilled and well-trained in the knowledge of, water politics, that they have to write. They have to write. They have to write and teach. Bring the facts to the forum. There are many countries that do not like your development. There are many also countries, governments that like you to remain always backward, weak, not to food self-sufficient, always to become beggars. It's a shame having water, again you buy Sinde from abroad. It is shameful. What do you buy? Do you buy Sinde? No, you buy water.
Since most of Ethiopia's biggest rivers are transboundary, promoting a shared future among East African countries is what Ethiopia strongly believes and why the forum has been launched.
French ambassador to Ethiopia, Remy Maréchal, says his country is always ready to bolster its vast experience with Ethiopia. Talking to ETV, the ambassador noted the government of France is committed to work hard with Ethiopia in various projects in the near future. Ethiopia and France are enjoying their old standing bilateral ties in various fields. Haptam Oshagri presents the story filed by Aida Garamo.
Ethiopia and France have strong bilateral ties witnessed over the past 125 years in various fields. Talking to TV, France ambassador to Ethiopia, Remy Maréchal, said the two countries have been celebrating ties due to successful diplomatic relations.
We celebrate in 2022 125 years of diplomatic relation. So this is the oldest diplomatic relation we have on the continent. This embassy where I stand is the oldest French embassy on the continent. And this year is a year of celebration of what we achieved together, Ethiopia and France, for the past 125 years.
According to the ambassador, the embassy is observing and evaluating one specific issue in every means to commemorate effective bilateral relations of the two countries. The government of France is committed to work hard with Ethiopia in various projects in the near future.
We want to remind the past in order to build on this past for projects in the future. So every month during this year, we'll celebrate one specific area of cooperation. So last month was education and the cooperation between French university and Ethiopian university. Thanks to this very strong, very long-standing and confident relation, we can have very ambitious projects for the future.
Remy remarked Ethiopia is one of the leading diplomatic ties with France in the continent, and France is desirous to deepen bilateral relations.
Je pense notamment
Ethiopia Telecom, the state-owned telecom service provider in Ethiopia, has officially launched the fifth-generation cellular network technology 5G the previous evening. The state giant Ethiopia Telecom introduced third-generation 3G and fourth-generation 4G in 2007 and 2015, respectively. The 5G technology is the fifth-generation cellular technology standard which can provide high-speed, lower latency and greater capacity. Let's take a look at some remarks made by our staff reporter Goshu Meliso during the 9 p.m. newscast Monday after attending the event.
Remember, 3G and 4G technologies were introduced in 2007 and 2015 respectively. And 4G network is currently operating in more than 22 cities, and the introduction of these services has limited capacity, and it's limited in some certain cities, and it is limited to deliver express services. So today, Ethiopia Telecom has launched 5G internet service with the presence of CEO Ethiopia Telecom, CEO of Ethiopia Telecom, Tamru, and other senior government officials. So the technology said to be has the capacity to deliver quick downloads and can provide higher speed and lower latency and greater capacity than 4G. So by the way, this is the fastest technology in the world. Okay. And following the government's decision before a few years ago to liberalize the market by inviting some companies, foreign companies.
Okay. So you see Ethiopia Telecom flexing its muscles for the competition that's forthcoming.
Yeah. So Ethiopia Telecom has been introducing various services to customers. So as I told you, Ethiopia Telecom, Safaricom and Vodafone are joining the market. Yeah. Ethiopia Telecom launched this service amid this service providers or telecom operators join the market. So it seems it is competing itself already for competition, I think. And the market like Safaricom and Vodafone is just competitive around the world, and I think it makes Ethiopia competitive around the world. And so far, South Africa and Kenya are among the first countries to introduce this 5G network. So Ethiopia will make this service Ethiopia will make Ethiopia competent to the rest of the world, and it has an immense contribution to service providers, for example, for mining and other service providers, organizations or companies.
So you see tangible benefits to the larger public.
Yeah, as we approach the service providers like Ride and other service providers, okay, they expect a lot from this 5G network to expedite their services, okay, they told us. And this is what I want to share you.
You're watching Addis News Hour, and let's take a look at the foreign exchange rate. The African Petroleum Producers Organization, the government